Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 5. I'll start with no spoilers, and then I'll give you a spoiler warning in a few minutes. Uh, I just want to say this is probably my favorite episode of the series so far. I think they've each one gotten better and better. A lot of that has to do with, of course, we are getting a little bit of the stuff that we kind of wanted to see. This episode uses a really neat storytelling device via flashbacks to kind of mirror the events that are happening in the current time. So I am very excited. I want to say Deborah Chow is doing an amazing job with this project. There's a scene where we are just via the camera movement, we zoom in on a character, and I'll get more into specifics into once we get spoilers. But yeah, we zoom in on a character, and that just brings so much anxiety and uneasiness due to the shot, how it's framed and the camera's moving. Um, we get a lot of answers, I think, in this episode that a lot of people had been either speculating from episode one or just wondering about. And we get probably the big turn of the season. So I'm very excited. We have one more episode to go, and I don't really know how they're going to wrap everything up or if they even will wrap everything up. So very, very much highly recommend you check this out if you haven't yet. I will get into spoilers now, so you've been warned. So in this episode, we pick up right where we left off. Right, Riva had put a tracker on Lola, the little droid. Leia and everyone escaped back with Obi-Wan back to the path, one of the planets along the path. I forget the name of the planet. Pilum, I think it's called, something like that, something with a P. Um, and yeah, we get back to this. This isn't really a rebellion, a rebel base, or anything like that. This is more just like the people that are helping with this path to help people, get away from the Empire. So we get back to that base. We realize that, they realize that they are that Vader is coming with his ship. uh, we do see a really cool scene where Reva gets promoted to Grand Inquisitor, which left me wondering about a lot of things, but everything actually gets pretty much resolved in this issue. So I really enjoyed that. Now, when I opened this video up, I mentioned that they use a really cool framing device for the episode. So we get a flashback to pre-clone, or I guess to the time of the Clone Wars, pre-Order 66. Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin's still a Padawan at this point. We get to see a lot of Hayden Christensen in this episode. He's back. He's got the little braid, the Jedi braid, and we get to see Obi-Wan Kenobi with his haircut from Attack of the Clones. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Attack of the Clones, or maybe this was between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, right before Anakin became a full Jedi Knight. And yeah, they're just having a duel. It's a training exercise, but obviously very competitive. Anakin is very competitive, so we have this duel, and that kind of mirrors all the stuff that's happening with how Anakin and Obi-Wan know each other, how they react to fights, how they approach fighting and confrontation. So in this episode, like I said, Vader's coming, and they have very little time. We have Lola, that the little droid that has been hacked by the Empire, sabotages the only exit for the base, so no one can escape. While they're trying to figure that out, we do get to see that everyone really that we've met pretty much throughout the episode um, comes back, and now they're here in the ship trying to escape. And yeah, finally Vader shows up. They've run out of time, so Obi-Wan has to create a distraction while they try to hold the fort as much as they can. In the end, they are unable to slow down the forces, but we do have a conversation between Reva and Obi-Wan where we finally learn, and this is all kind of via Obi-Wan's speculation slash just knowing that that Reva is actually that child that we saw in episode one, the youngling that survived the temple. Now I think it gets pretty emotional, a little graphic too, her description of the events. So be warned about that if you haven't gotten there yet. Um, but yeah, we find that out. We know that Reva's actual mission is actually to kill Vader, and that's how she knew that he was Anakin, because she saw him in the temple. She got cut. I don't really They don't really explain how she escaped, other than she hid among the other younglings as the Empire left. So very, like I said, very very much graphic in detail for that part. And yeah, we now know Reva's true intentions is to hunt Vader down. Obi-Wan tells her that he can help her out. They can work together on this. But I feel like she still feels like this needs to be done on her own. This is where the story, it does get a little convoluted, as far as like it feels convenient, but in a Star Wars way. Like, we know that's always was what was going to happen. So that was really interesting to see, like, how they developed that. So Vader finally shows up on this planet. Reva is about to turn in Obi-Wan, but obviously at this point she had already kind of let him escape to trick Vader into a confrontation, and we get one of the coolest scenes in this show. Like, they finally get the doors open. Leia figures out that Lola's got a little tracker, so she takes that off. Everyone is back on board the ship, and we see this ship taking off, and Vader walks into the room at the same time, and just via the Force, he brings down that ship back. It's such a cool scene. I think Vader's use of the Force in this episode is probably some of the strongest thing we've seen outside of the comics. In the comics, we've seen him take out a full AT-AT just manually with the Force. But yeah, this was such a cool scene. He brings down the ship, but we do have, it is a misdirect, because there's another ship where everyone actually is on board. But the way he just tears into that ship, it's so savage. And finally, Reva confronts Vader. They have a duel that it's very one-sided. And as much as Reva tries, nothing happens. She is unable to defeat Vader. Vader stabs Reva, and let's just kind of leaves her there, but not before we get the return of the Grand Inquisitor, who used his fuel for vengeance to keep him alive after being stabbed by Reva. So I think that's how Vader already knew. Like, I don't know if Vader recognized Reva from being a youngling at the temple, but also the fact that the Grand Inquisitor was already healed and already by Vader's side. Already, that means he already knew that Reva was playing him. So yeah, it got really intense. And Reva was kind of left to die. Now we do have this little thing at the end where Obi-Wan lost his little like the little message thing that he uses, and from there we had a message from um, from Leia's dad, Jimmy Smith. I forget the name. I forgot the name of the character. But yeah, we get a message from him that if he doesn't hear back from him soon, he'll go back to Tatooine to help Luke. And then Obi-Wan zooms in, and this is what I was talking about with the camera movement. We have this like really shaky cam right up on Obi-Wan's face, framed like very up close. And then after that, we get a zoom in on just a sleeping Luke in Tatooine. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next episode. But like I said, this was just some of the most fun Star Wars stuff. And it is so cool to see like Vader's use of the Force. Like, he's such a force within himself. It's amazing. Like, he didn't even pull out his own lightsaber during this battle. That's how strong he was. So yeah, there was no chance for Reva at all. But she's down, but she's not completely out. We've seen that, just because you get stabbed doesn't mean you die. So I'm looking forward to the next episode. Looking forward to seeing how the conclusion of this series, or maybe just season one, we'll see. I'm sure they could pull out another story from this. I've heard there are whispers of a Reva spinoff, so this could be something from prior to the show. Maybe it's something that, her journey from being a Padawan to becoming an Inquisitor, or it could follow the character after the show. So we'll see. But As always, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned because we have more trailer reactions, TV recaps, comic reviews, movie reviews. We have a bunch of movie reviews this week. Yeah, and as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
The Force will be with you, always.